The alien economy, a conspiracy theory linking consumer choices to extraterrestrial takeover. Setting the stage. Conspiracy theories have always found a way to embed themselves into the collective imagination. From the shadowy operatives of global elites to alien encounters in New Mexico, these theories often offer a lens, however flawed, through which people can process societal uncertainties. Among the more peculiar narratives out there, one theory weaves together concerns about consumerism, morality, and an impending extraterrestrial invasion. It alleges that poor people, deemed evil by these theorists, are hastening economic decline by purchasing foreign-made goods, ultimately leaving Earth vulnerable to alien colonization. As absurd as it might sound, this theory is a fascinating case study of how economic anxieties, nationalism, and a dash of sci-fi meld into a narrative that's both bizarre and revealing. By peeling back the layers of this theory, we can uncover the underlying fears that fuel such beliefs, and perhaps find clues to the broader societal tensions from which they arise. Historical roots of Buy American. The Buy American sentiment has deep historical roots, tracing back to periods of economic hardship like the Great Depression and the manufacturing boom during World War II. During these times, purchasing domestic products was framed as an act of patriotism, a way to support the nation's industries, workforce, and resilience. Fast forward to the late 20th and early 21st centuries, and the narrative shifted. Globalization brought an influx of affordable foreign-made goods, which fundamentally changed consumer behavior. For many, buying American no longer seemed like the default choice, and for others it wasn't even financially feasible. Globalization and its discontents. Globalization has been both a blessing and a curse for economies worldwide. While it's fostered economic growth and made goods more affordable, it has also led to the outsourcing of manufacturing jobs, causing significant disruption to domestic industries in countries like the United States. Conspiracy theorists often highlight the loss of American jobs as a key factor in the country's supposed decline, citing it as evidence that buying foreign-made goods is unpatriotic. However, this perspective fails to address the complexity of global trade, consumer pricing, and corporate decision-making. The role of poverty in consumer behavior. For those living in poverty, economic realities often dictate purchasing decisions. When faced with limited income, it's not about choosing between domestic or imported goods, it's about finding the most affordable option. For example, a pair of shoes made abroad at a lower cost is often more accessible than a pricier American-made alternative. Critics within the conspiracy theory framework argue that this is a willful betrayal of national loyalty, overlooking systemic issues like income inequality, wage stagnation, and the lack of affordable domestic options. It's a classic case of blaming individuals for circumstances beyond their control. The evil label. By branding poor people as evil for their purchasing habits, this conspiracy theory moralizes poverty in a deeply troubling way. It shifts the blame for systemic economic challenges onto individuals, painting them not just as irresponsible but as actively harmful to society. This pattern of moralizing poverty isn't new. Throughout history, marginalized groups have often been vilified to deflect attention from larger systemic issues. From the undeserving poor rhetoric of Victorian England to modern narratives around welfare recipients, the tendency to demonize economically disadvantaged individuals has long been a feature of societal discourse. The psychology of blame. Why do such narratives take hold? One answer lies in human psychology. People crave simple explanations for complex problems, and conspiracy theories often provide clear villains and heroes. It's easier to point fingers at individuals or groups than to confront the messy realities of global economics and systemic inequality. the real villains? By focusing on the purchasing habits of poor people, proponents of this theory ignore the larger forces at play. Corporate practices, such as outsourcing and prioritizing shareholder profit over worker welfare, have a far greater impact on economic trends. Yet these systemic issues rarely feature in the narrative, likely because they're harder to confront and solve. Aliens as a symbol of the other. Conspiracy theories involving aliens often reflect broader anxieties about the other. In this case, extraterrestrials represent an external threat poised to exploit humanity's vulnerabilities. By linking the supposed economic decline to alien colonization, the theory taps into age-old fears of invasion and loss of control. The fear of vulnerability. Economic instability can make people feel exposed, both as individuals and as a nation. This sense of vulnerability often manifests in fears of external threats, whether they take the form of foreign powers, global institutions, or even aliens. In this framework, consumer behavior becomes a battlefield, with every foreign-made product seen as a blow to America's strength. The absurdity and the insight. Of course, the leap from economic decline to alien takeover is, on its face, absurd. Yet it provides a lens through which we can explore deeper fears. The idea of aliens exploiting Earth's weakness may be fantastical, but it symbolizes a genuine anxiety about losing control in an increasingly interconnected and unpredictable world. Economic narratives in pop culture. Popular culture often reflects and amplifies societal anxieties. Films like Independence Day and The Day the Earth Stood Still depict alien invasions as metaphors for global instability and the need for unity. By examining these cultural artifacts, we can better understand how fears about economics and other external threats seep into the collective consciousness. The role of social media. Social media platforms have become breeding grounds for conspiracy theories. Algorithms designed to maximize engagement often amplify sensationalist content, creating echo chambers where such theories can thrive. The rapid spread of misinformation can give fringe ideas like this one an outsized influence. What it reveals about us. Ultimately, this conspiracy theory, like many others, says more about its believers than about the world itself. It reflects a deep-seated fear of change, loss, and vulnerability. While the narrative may be flawed, the emotions driving it are real and deserve acknowledgement. Searching for meaning. Conspiracy theories often emerge as a way to make sense of a chaotic and uncertain world. While the idea of poor people causing economic ruin and opening the door to alien invaders may seem laughable, it highlights genuine concerns about globalization, economic inequality, and societal cohesion. By engaging critically with such theories, we can better understand the fears that underpin them and work toward addressing the real issues that fuel these narratives.